Well, I have spent the last month plus buried in scouting for this 2025 running back class, and I am so excited to give you my top 20 to 30 range. We'll talk about tiers, we'll talk about pro comps. I am so excited to finally be able to bring this to you. All right, so I am a big fan of Dane Brugler. All right, I don't know if you guys are as well, but I am a huge fan of him. And he recently replied to someone who was talking about the 2025 class, and he said there will be double-digit running backs drafted in the second to fourth round range, which honestly, I liked this class, but that was really surprising for me to hear. But if Dane says it, I believe it. He does great work with the Athletic. I love this class. I think it's going to be very transformational for the Dynasty community. Let's start off with tier numero uno on his own, the Baba Yaga himself, Ashton Jeanty. Yes. That guy, all right? The guy standing in the backfield about to ruin your entire day. He is the only running back in tier one. He stands alone. I don't think he should be in the same tier as any player in this class. Quite frankly, he is my clear 101. Guys, I'm not sure we will ever see a season like this again in our lifetimes. I don't know if that's me being dramatic, but the guy has over 2,000 rushing yards. He has, 27 rushing touchdowns now. By the way, all the stats that you're going to look at in today's video are updated up until week 12. We haven't included week 13 just yet. But man, here's the deal. When life gives me lemons, I might turn it into lemonade. When life gives Ashton Jeanty lemons, he turns that into caviar. This guy's different gravy. He is truly different gravy. His break tackle ability is super rare, from a defensive lineman to a safety, everything in between. It's like watching, you ever remember doing this? You remember Zion Williamson in high school? It's like watching Zion Williamson's high school mixtape. That's what it feels like watching this guy dominate at the college football level. He has the #1 PFF rushing grade. He has the second yards per attempt at 7.7. He has forced 90 missed tackles, which is 20 more than any other running back in college football. He's the contact balance king. Last year, they're not focusing on receiving, usage this year, but last year in 2023, he had more receiving yards in 2023 than any other running back in college football, more receiving yards than any single season from a Jahmyr Gibbs or Bijan Robinson. We know he's a good pass catcher. If you have concerns about him being in the Mountain West and the competition of a Boise State, well, he went and faced Oregon and put up 192 yards, 7.7 yards per attempt, and 3 touchdowns. The guy has elite change of direction. Lateral movement is ridiculous. I mean, the guy is an elite running back through and through. And when I'm thinking about pro comps, I think he's a combination of a bunch of players we love. He's a combination of your Aaron Jones, your Dalvin Cook, your Maurice Jones-Drews, your Alvin Kamara. He is a combination of these guys. He's a 3-down workhorse superstar running back, a top 15 pick in the NFL draft. He is on his own in tier number 1. Let's move on to tier number 2. My RB2 as of today, and guys, look, a lot of things can change, all right? So if you don't agree with me on my list, that's okay. I actually love that we have a different opinion, but this is where I stand after doing a bunch of film, a lot of all 22, looking at analytics, and this is where I stand. My RB2 right now is Omarion Hampton. Omarion Sea Breeze. I mean, I love this guy. Omarion is a plant the foot, cut, hit the hole, and go, right? Get as much yards as you can type of running back. If you guys remember back to his true freshman season, his debut as a true freshman, he had over 100 rushing yards. The first UNC freshman to do that since 1946. This guy is a contact balance and break tackle king. It is incredibly difficult to bring Omarion Hampton down. A ball of muscle, a pure force running down the field. He is currently 13th in yards after contact per attempt, 4.33. He is 9th in missed tackles forced with 58. In 2023, he actually led the nation in yards after contact. He's got a really special initial burst, which is nice to see. And his speed for his size, I'm telling you guys, when you put on his film, you will not think that he stands at 220 pounds. I mean, it almost reminds me, like his speed reminds me a little bit of Trey Benson. Remember how Trey Benson was so fast and we're like, wait, how big is he? Are we sure we're watching the right guy? And even though he's a bigger back, he gets really skinny in between his offensive line, which allows him to exploit smaller lanes that some backs might not be able to. But here's my issue with him. He's not a one-on-one, make your man miss type of back, right? He's not this guy where you put him in space and he's got a bag of tricks that he's going to get past you. It's kind of like pure power. I'm going to bowl you over, right? I'm going to Kool-Aid man this. And if you're not going to take me down, then unlucky, but I'm not going to make you miss like that. Good pass catcher. We love to see it. He reminds me a lot of James Conner. I cannot stop seeing James Conner when I watch Omarion Hampton. A little Leonard Fournette. I think his floor comp is like a Latavius Murray, Rashawn Johnson. I think he'll be a very good first and second down back with third down upside. I think he'll go in round 2 to 3. He's a great fit for like the Patriots, Steelers, Chargers. Huge fan of his game. All right, staying in the same tier, let's talk about Caleb Johnson, my third running back in my rankings. And Caleb Johnson is special, guys. 6 foot, 225 pounds, the junior out of Iowa. He is so fun to watch. Guys, if anybody in this class is Nick Chubb, if anybody is, I'm not saying anybody will be, but if anybody's Nick Chubb, it's Caleb Johnson. All right, this guy is a pure rusher. He has out of this world analytics this year, over 1,300 rushing yards, over 7 yards per attempt, and 20 touchdowns. I want you guys to keep something in mind, okay? Caleb is 15th in the nation in carries and attempts. So this is a workhorse. He's getting the ball a ton, and he's still averaging over 7 yards per attempt. That is the 6th best number in the nation. He's 4th in yards after contact per attempt. He has the number 1 breakaway percentage. It is genuinely insane. He could be my RB2 when all is said and done. The guy's analytics are out of this world. For the amount of opportunities he gets to still be that good and, that efficient is pretty rare. He has a special burst, hits the lane with conviction, can definitely win on the outside. He pops to the outside like a rocket. I'm not surprised that he has the highest breakaway percentage in college football. He can definitely win outside it in the NFL. He's a pile mover, strength through contact. I want you guys to keep something in mind. Iowa has been one of the worst offenses in college football for years. And this man single-handedly took them out of the slumps. Look at the last 2 years. They're 117th and 130th in offensive points per game. Now this year, with Caleb Johnson doing his thing, they are 51st, 4 touchdowns per game, which if you know anything about Iowa football, that's like unheard of in this era. 4 touchdowns per game, 28 points. That's on a good day in any previous year. But again, when I think about what type of player he could be in the NFL, think Nick Chubb, think Larry Johnson. That's a throwback to the Chiefs' Larry Johnson. Brian Robinson with the Commanders. I think he has that type of comp to his game. All right, at number 4, and the last player in my tier 2, yes, I know everyone's rankings are going to be different, but I only have 3 players in tier 2, and the last player in my tier is TreVeyon Henderson. Now, if you go back and you look at TreVeyon Henderson's rookie season, it was one of the best rookie seasons we've seen in the last decade, right? If we actually compare it side by side to the Jonathan Taylor rookie year, the Braylon Allen rookie year, it compares really well, especially when you look at his receiving yardage, 285 yards as a rookie, as a freshman rather. I mean, so efficient on the ground, 15 touchdowns, 7 yards per attempt. He was so good as a rookie, and he's been dealing with a bunch of injuries since then. Obviously, Quinshon Judkins joins the backfield with him this year, but we all know TreVeyon Henderson. And to be honest, when Judkins transferred to Ohio State, I said to myself, okay, we are going to need to see Henderson's efficiency go up. We need to see these analytics skyrocket, and they definitely did. He has the 4th best yards per attempt, 7.3 yards per attempt this year. And I love this guy's vision. He has a high speed processing type of mind that works behind the line of scrimmage, and he uses that burst to attack the offensive line. And look, if Ollie Gordon from this class is your dial-up broadband type of internet speed, then Trey Henderson is fiber optic when it comes to vision behind the line of scrimmage. In my opinion, his best trait by far is his elusiveness, that rare ability to make that man miss in the open field with a bag of tricks, the hesitation, the jukes, the jump cut, the speed, the spot, the stop start, right? Everything that we said Caleb Johnson couldn't do, well, TreVeyon Henderson has all of that and more. Now, TreVeyon doesn't have the strength that these top backs do, like the Omarion Hamptons, like the Caleb Johnsons, but he is kind of, in my opinion, a running back that could truly break fantasy. I think he can be a workhorse running back. He can be a 3-down back, and he can be absolutely lightning through the air. He's not a pile mover. His durability, I guess you could question it because of the injuries he's had, but I see him as like this Aaron Jones, Tiki Barber, D'Angelo Williams type of player. His floor is like a Tony Pollard. I think he is a very good running back that is going to make one NFL team very, very happy. All right, let's move on to tier number 3. And this might be the biggest surprise for you guys so far. Again, not everybody's rankings are going to be the same. I think that's okay. You might hate this, but the 5th running back for me in my rankings right now today is Woody Marks out of USC. This kid is special, all right? And if you're not seeing it, I don't know what to tell you. Go to your local, doctor, see if you need a glasses updated, contact lens. I don't know, but Woody Marks is special. And if you look at his receiving profile, guys, look at this. In his career, he has years over 500 receiving yards, 83 receptions as a running back, 48 receptions in 2022, 60 as a freshman in 2020. Now this year, USC, games to go, almost 300 yards, 43 catches. The guy is an absolute dual threat running back. He can cut back, he can hit the edge, he can get skinny inside, he can pass catch. I don't think there's a single scenario where he can't be the answer for an offensive coordinator's designed play. He's dynamic, he's explosive, he can create for himself when the play breaks down. He's a true game-changing pass catcher. Initial burst is incredible, quick, purposeful feet, right? A lot of people got quick feet, but they don't know where they're going, right? Their mind and their feet aren't melded together. He's got quick, purposeful feet, left to right in a flash type beat. I mean, finishes runs with powers. He actually has Mississippi State's records for career receptions of any player, 214, receiving yards from a running back, and he also holds Mississippi State's record for consecutive games with a catch, 45 games, which is a streak that hasn't been broken, probably never will be. And 84.8% of his snaps, he's running a receiving route, which is by far the highest I've seen in this class. He's a make your man miss one-on-one type of specialist. Look, his vision can be suspect at times. I still think there's improvement to be done there. He's also an older prospect. He's 23 years old, a 5th-year senior. But I love this guy. He reminds me of David Johnson. You guys remember those great years from David Johnson with the Arizona Cardinals? I see a lot of David Johnson in him, a little Tyrone Tracy, a little Rashad White. I mean, I think this guy could be one of the biggest risers in the NFL draft in the offseason. I might be ahead of the schedule, or I might be crazy. I don't know, but I love this guy. I think he is special. Like we say, different gravy. All right, at number 6, right behind him, this is where we have Quinshon Judkins. I'm aware most people are going to have Judkins ahead of Woody Marks. Look, I like Judkins, all right? He runs through contact like the Kool-Aid man runs through walls, all right? We know that. He has special play strength, can make a defender look silly with the stiff arms, with the bowling you over. He has great tempo, behind the line of scrimmage. He's a goal line converter. He broke out at an early age at Ole Miss. Remember, he dominated when Zach Evans was on the team at 19 years old. He put up almost 1,600 rushing yards, 16 touchdowns. Now, that was his best career season as a freshman. That's a little bit concerning. Here's why I don't have him as high as other people. Now, he's not a home run hitter, big deal. I'm not really so worried about that. But in my opinion, he's not the most elusive running back out there, right? If you don't tackle him, it's because he bowled through you. It's not because he made you juke or he has this like make your man miss in space type of ability. I also think he lacks really any creativity. I don't want to be too harsh, but I believe he really relies on the offensive line ahead of him. He doesn't have it isn't like a Le'Veon Bell type of situation where there's patience, there's creativity. I'm going to create for myself. This broke down. He is really reliant on the offensive line ahead of him. So if he's in an offense like the Philadelphia Eagles with that offensive line, he's going to absolutely thrive. But if he's in an offense with a bad offensive line, I do have some questions. And here's the deal. We're talking about Quinshon Judkins, who is splitting opportunities across the board this year. And when you look at analytics where he should be strong, he is not. For example, yards after contact per attempt. He is 95th in college football this year. He has only forced 28 missed tackles. I mean, the production has decreased each year. He split the backfield in 2024, so I understand why this year. But the reality is, I just think he's a good player, but I think there are players that have better upside in this class, and I still like him. I'll still draft him in a ton of rookie drafts, but I think it's going to take the right situation for him to really thrive. My pro comps for him, a little David Montgomery, Kareem Hunt, Tank Bigsby. In the right situation, you put this guy in Dallas, I'm all in, right? But you put him in a place with a bad offensive line, I do have some question marks. All right, at number 7, and the last player in my tier 3, this is my sleeper of the class. I don't know if anybody's talked about him or not. I haven't watched anyone's content, but Brashard Smith. Let me tell you about my guy, Brashard Smith. I'm obsessed with this name. Former 4-star wide receiver recruit who transferred this year from Miami to SMU. He transferred to become a running back for this team, and this man has taken off. Guys, the burst, all right? Big shout out to Kyle, who I've been working on some stuff on the channel with. You know, he said, we were watching Brashard together, and he said, man, that burst. I said, dude, that burst is crazy. He's like, yeah, and honestly, it reminds me of like a Tesla. I'm like, you know what? That is so true. If you have ridden in a Tesla and you know someone puts that foot down, you go, oof, right? He has that kind of burst. The man goes 0 to 60 in a split second. He is extremely versatile given his wide receiver background. SMU is moving him all over the field, in the slot, out wide, end around, wildcat, really fun to watch. I think he is an NFL offensive coordinator's dream as far as thinking about how to scheme him up in their offense. He's the best pass catcher in the back in this class by far. He has the best PFF receiving grade of any wide receiver, any running back in this class, over 90. He's very fluid in between the tackles. Great mind to feet meld. This is something I really noticed because typically with wide receiver converts to running backs, you know, the vision is kind of where they struggle. They're not really familiar with playing the running back position. But if you watch him, he looks like an experienced vet behind that line of scrimmage. Again, the mind and the feet are melded together. They work in unison, and it is beautiful to see. He has very impressive analytics. He has the 8th best PFF run grade. He's averaging 6.5 yards per attempt, 15th best. He has a decent yards after contact per attempt. His breakaway percentage is at 50. He's got a great elusive rating. Now, a couple things that are a little bit concerning. He's very raw at the position. He has 3 fumbles in his first season as a running back starter, and he dances a little bit too much in the open field. You can see a little bit of that wide receiver mentality when he's in the open field at time, but man, I think he is special. Look, he is the most Walmart version. Don't kill me when I say this, but you see a little Jahmyr Gibbs when you watch him. I really think you do. I really think you do. I'm not saying he's that good, guys. I'm not saying he's the quality, the caliber. He won't be a first-round pick, but you see a little, it's like a Walmart, the most Walmart version of Jahmyr Gibbs. There's a little Tyrone Tracy, James Cook, Travis Etienne to him. Nyheim Hines is a fine floor comp. I think he could be special. He could be a huge riser in the offseason. Before we get into tier 4, I just want to let you know that our 2025 rookie report will be releasing in early January. We are so excited to release it for you. If you want to get access to it, all you got to do is become a yearly Mother Flocker member with the promo code LAND. We had the most viewed rookie guide in the industry last year, and we're proud to bring you something even better in 2025. Also, if you become a yearly Mother Flocker member with the promo code LAND, you'll get a free playbook where we'll break down your Dynasty team and give you some direction on what the best moves are moving forward. I appreciate you for watching the video. Let's get back to it. All right, let's move on to tier number 4. I'll go through these names a little bit more quicker. And this might be a surprise for you guys as well, this next name, but DJ Giddens, another one of my favorite sleepers in this class. Why is no one talking about DJ Giddens? For the life of me, I think I'm going crazy. I really think I am because nobody's talking about DJ Giddens. I think the kid could be special. Like, I really do. Like, remember how we talked about Ashton Genty is he turns lemons into caviar? Well, absolutely. When we talk about DJ Giddens, I think he definitely turns lemons into lemonade on a consistent basis. I love seeing that from a running back where, okay, the play broke down. What can you do? Watching him in the open field is a piece of art. I think he's so fluid. Every step he takes has purpose. He's great through initial contact. He has a great production profile, over 1,000 rushing yards in back-to-back seasons. 400 receiving receptions and 550 receiving yards in the last 2 seasons. Initial burst is there. Make your man miss ability. You know, not to the same extent that Travion Henderson has, but he definitely has that bag. You know, the juke, the hezzy, the jump cut, the spin. He's got it. He's a nightmare to bring down in the open field. This man has a disgusting jump cut. Great size and speed combo at 6'1", 212 pounds. And a really nice analytical profile here, right? He's 6.4 yards per attempt in the Big 12 is pretty good. He's 22nd yards after contact per attempt, has forced 51 missed tackles, great breakaway percentage. You can see a lot of explosive plays on film. He still needs development. And, here's the deal. He had a late start in football. He didn't play organized football until his sophomore season in high school. So he is still learning the position. I also think he needs to be a little bit more decisive behind the line of scrimmage. Hey, when you have that fork in the road, brother, you are so quick. You got great burst. Just choose a lane and commit to it. Because sometimes we're getting a little too dancy with our feet in the pocket. Now, look, I think he's got a pro comp around like the Tony Pollard, Chuba Hubbard range. Your floor is like a TJ Yeldon, Zach Moss. I think he has developmental star capabilities, and no one else is saying that. So I think I might be going crazy. All right, at number 9, let's talk about Dylan Sampson out of Tennessee. Most of you guys would have heard about Dylan Sampson by now. Look, I really like Dylan Sampson. I mean, that production is out of this world. 21 touchdowns, pretty good through the air. I mean, he bounces off contact really, really well. This little ball of energy, if you will. 51 missed tackles forced is fun. Legit threat through the air. But look, he has always given effort, but he lacks real strength. He really does. He also has 3 fumbles this year, and the long run speed, while it's not everything, is extremely underwhelming. And I barely saw any home run plays from him. I know a lot of people love Dylan Sampson, but I'll be honest, like the home run plays were just not there. I mean, I didn't see many wow plays where I was like, damn, like I'm obsessed with this guy. And it makes sense. His breakaway percentage is 111th. I mean, that's what I kind of saw on film. I think a lot of people are going to like compare him to Devon Achane. And the reason I was all in on Devon Achane was because he had a superpower, which was his speed, his burst. I don't think Dylan Sampson has a superpower as an undersized back. I still like him. I think he could be a very good rotational back. I think his ceiling is like the Bucky Irvings of the world, the Tajay Spears of the world. His floor is like the Theo Riddick, Dion Lewis. But I think he's a great player. I'm just not sure how it translates from college football to the NFL. All right, at number 10, let's talk about Devin Neal, who, by the way, just this week had 3 touchdowns on the ground, 80 yards through the air and a touchdown through the air, 4 total touchdowns. He is a special running back, one of my favorite sleepers, who I thought was going to be in the 2023 class. But man, he is super special. I'm a big fan of his game. He is so fluid in the open field. Sometimes you watch certain running backs and you're like, damn, they look clunky. All right, he's moving left to right and like he's taking some time. No, there is real grace and elusiveness to this man's game. When he gets in the second level of the defense, anything is possible. He's got A+ vision behind the line of scrimmage, an extremely creative player, can definitely create for himself if the play breaks down, elite change of direction. I mean, this man has a jump cut that can land your ass in the hospital if you're not careful. Now look, he doesn't have long run speed. He's definitely not like going to be a 4-4 guy or a 4-3 guy. I think he's more like a 4-5-1 type of player. But outside of his change of direction, I don't think there's another elite trait that he really possesses. Had an incredible year in 2023. I think he should have came out last year, but I still love him. He has like a David Montgomery type of ceiling, but his floor is like a Khalil Herbert, Jeff Wilson type of player. He has a wide range of outcomes. All right, next let's talk about Le'Veon Moss, my 11th running back in this class. I'll be honest, I don't have any film on Le'Veon Moss just yet. I'm waiting on film from my hookup, my all-22 guy. There's just no clips right now, but I have heard good things about him. His analytical profile is very impressive. In the SEC, I'm gonna keep my eyes on that, and we'll wait for more film. Unfortunately, he suffered a lower leg injury and he's out for the year, but he has been someone that's been on my radar. Also, Jonah Coleman, who's my running back 12 right now. Again, no film on this guy, but people that I trust in the industry really like him, so I'm gonna try and give him some respect. Again, gotta wait for some film on him first, but I've heard great things about him. And to finish this tier, before we go into tier 5, Jarquez Hunter. Man, I really like Jarquez Hunter, guys. I really like this kid. Pound for pound, might be a top 5 running back in college football this year in particular, okay? Pack a punch running back. You guys play Call of Duty, you ever play zombies? This is a pack a punch. You know, you go get your special perks. This man has pack a punch unlimited, all right? He's a pack a punch running back, plays way above his weight, dynamic, explosive, one-on-one winner, tackle breaker, aerial threat. Oh, but I'm not a rapper. If the NFL sees what I see in him, I think he will have a special role. Now, I could be wrong. He is a little bit undersized at 5'10", 209, he's really more like 200 pounds. I don't know why they think he's 210. He's not. But if you look at his analytics, they are ridiculous. He has 7 yards per attempt in the SEC. That's 7th best in the nation. He has the 6th best yards after contact per attempt in the nation. He's top 24 missed tackles force and breakaway percentage. He has the 5th best elusive rating. I mean, the guy is really fun to watch in the open field. I'm not sure if it translates to the NFL. If it does, it's like the Austin Eckler type of route when you're thinking about a comp, but his floor is more like your Chase Edmonds, your Jaleel McLaughlin's. Again, he can be a special player in the right scenario, but it's going to take a coaching staff that really believes in him. All right, into tier number 5, and we'll go even quicker in this tier, so this video isn't too long. Let's talk about Jordan James. I'll be honest, Jordan James was one of my sleepers of the year before this season in college football, and I don't know, man, I was pretty disappointed watching the film. I just don't think he does really anything at an elite rate. I mean, his vision is quite good. He runs a lot of routes out of the backfield, which is great. He's always falling forward, but there's no wow plays. I expected way more burst and speed based off his profile. You know, he's good through contact for his size, but I think at the next level, it won't translate very well. Look, I don't know, man. I think this is like a Devin Singletary at best floor Jaylen Warren, so still a very good player. He's the 2 in a 1-2 punch, but I just don't think he lived up to my expectations, if I'm honest with you. At number 15, let's talk about Damian Martinez. Huge back, 6 foot, 232 pounds. If you remember, he transferred from Oregon State. This guy initiates contact. He drives piles, easily shaking off arm tackles. He's that big body, reliable and pass pro. He inflicts pain on any defender in the open field who's going to try and stop him. But I'll be honest, there's a lot of things I wasn't obsessed about with Damian Martinez's game. So let's talk about it real quick. I think he lacks the burst and speed to win outside in the NFL. That's concerning to me. He's very limited as far as a versatility perspective. He's kind of like, in my opinion, a little bit of a one-trick pony. He's not the best pass catcher. He has little receiving work in his career. His lack of production in 2024 is a little bit concerning. He split the backfield with Mark Fletcher and Jordan Lyle and A.J. Allen. I don't know, man. I mean, I'm a little bit concerned about him moving on to the next level. I think he might be more A.J. Dillon than like the Braylon Allen when you're thinking about this type of bigger back. Maybe Audric Estime is a decent comp, but I'm not obsessed with him personally. At number 16, let's talk about Raheem Rocket Sanders. We all know the name. We all loved him. His 2022 season with Arkansas was legendary. He had a nice little bounce back here with South Carolina. I mean, I can't decide if I like the idea of Rocket Sanders more because I fell in love with him in 2022 or if I actually love the player. It's hard to differentiate at this point. For the longest time, I wanted him to be a thing. And then in 2024, the film is much, much better than 2023. But I feel like he's just so inconsistent. One play, he looks like prime 2022 Rocket Sanders. The next play, he looks like 2023 New England Patriots Ezekiel Elliott. I feel like there's no in between here. There's not really much consistency, in my opinion, in his film. And I think you'll hear this all offseason for Rocket Sanders. You will hear people say, for his size. What do I mean by that? Well, he's a for his size running back prospect. So, okay, he has good speed for his size. He has good agility and elusiveness for his size. He's a decent pass catcher for his size. I think you'll hear those things all offseason long. I really like him. I think he's got great play strength, pretty good elusiveness for his size again. But I think there is a little bit of a limited burst. His top speed is pretty good for his size, but the lateral quickness is a little bit concerning. Middle of the pack analytics, I think Braylon Allen is kind of best case scenario for Raheem Sanders. And let's be honest, if Braylon Allen was on any team today that needed a running back, he could probably be the starter. So that's good news. But I think at worst, you got a Joshua Kelly. At best, you have a Braylon Allen, maybe a Chris Carson type of player. Moving on, let's talk about Kyle Monangai, I think is how you say it, if I remember properly. Look, I really liked Kyle, but like his vision is very impressive. His change of direction is elite. That sidestep is special. Great initial burst. He is a slippery ball of lightning in the open field. He's a break tackle machine. He's a real sleeper. I wanted to have him higher, but the grades just didn't work out that way. He's had extremely limited passing work. He's the only player that I've scouted this year to have 0% of his snaps lined up as receiver. That has more to do with Rutgers' scheme than anything. But I just don't think he does anything at an elite level. I think he's a really fun story. Walmart, Kyron Williams at best, at worst, a Boston Scott type of player. He's a spell back with, special upside that it's fun to talk about. Next, we'll talk about RJ Harvey, my last player in this tier. RJ Harvey out of UCF, originally committed to Virginia to play quarterback. Then he transferred to UCF after a redshirt season, and he set a UCF record with 5 consecutive 100-plus rushing yard games in 2023. He's really fun to watch, man. He is. Quick feet plus vision combo. Again, that mind meld that you want to see. Surprisingly good through contact, especially because he's 5'9", 208 pounds. I think he could be, another Walmart Kyron Williams type of deal with RJ Harvey and Kyle. I think they're different players, but there's some similarities between them for sure. I definitely like him, but he's a liability in pass pro. I just don't know if his game translates to the next level, but he's really fun. This is a very deep class. All right, my last tier, and then we'll talk about players to monitor. I might get some hate for this, but I'll be honest, I had no fun watching Ollie Gordon. Watching Ollie Gordon was such a task. I felt drained after I finished. All right, he's a good receiver. Great. But I wouldn't be surprised if he returned to college instead of committing to go into the NFL this year. He's got great size. He's a good pass catcher. Fine. All right, whatever. But he had terrible analytics this year. All right, out of 151 running backs, all right, in college football with at least 75 attempts, this is where he ranks. 128th in PFF run grade, 155th in yards per attempt, 132nd yards after contact per attempt, 149th in breakaway percentage. Honestly, I hate the way he attacks a defender in space. He loses so many one-on-one battles. He has so much athleticism, but he just doesn't know how to even use it. He has shockingly bad play strength. For him to be 225 pounds and to be dominated so much by these defenders, he gets manhandled. How is that possible? He's way too indecisive behind the line of scrimmage. His pad levels are way too high. I don't know, man. I don't think he's a very good running back. Honestly, I don't think an NFL team should even draft him in the first 7 rounds, quite frankly. And right behind him, this might be the biggest shock of the video. This is where I have Nick Singleton. Maybe I'm crazy. This is only the first round of rankings. I will be open to any feedback. I really will be open. But I had such a difficult time watching Nick Singleton. Let's get the good out of the way. Impressive size speed combo at 226 pounds, right? Very impressive athlete. He lined up 18% of his snaps as a receiver, which was interesting to see. Decent burst, pretty good in pass protection, but look, his best season definitely came as a freshman. It's been really downhill since that time. He can't stay healthy. He's been dealing with injuries most of this season. He's not very nimble or elusive. If you get him going north to south, he's a train. But if you ask him to do anything shifty or fluid, left to right, it's not going to work out. He doesn't throttle down quickly. So again, he can get to that top speed eventually, but he doesn't throttle down quickly enough to really do anything in the open field. He doesn't hit the edge with conviction. I don't think the guy thinks he can win on the edge in college football. Again, I don't think even in college football, he thinks he has the speed to win outside. That is not going to be good when he enters the NFL. He lacks any creativity behind the line of scrimmage. His strength should have been more prevalent given his size. At 6'1", 220 pounds, he should be punishing defenders, and he's just not doing that. He has inconsistent vision. It was so frustrating to watch. Terrible analytics. He has 14 missed tackles, which is 146th in college football this year. For his size, 14 missed tackles? Are you kidding me? I know he's been injured, but there's been no reason for an NFL team to draft him. This is Ezekiel Elliott in 2023 with the Patriots. That's what I'm watching on film. It is so tough to watch. It's Rashawn Johnson. It's Joshua Kelly. I don't know. Yell at me in the comments, but I'm not a fan. All right. And I'll be open to change my mind like I always am, but not looking good. And let's finish off with players to monitor who didn't really make the top 20 because they just didn't have enough hype. But let's talk about Bashul Tutin, by far the most exciting name in this monitor group, but he has 9 fumbles in 2 seasons. Jaden Ott has dealt with injuries for most of 2024. I think he's going to return to school, but he had a really special freshman season with 300 yards, 3 receiving touchdowns, and 46 receptions. Taj Brooks, I think his best season was in 2023. Cam Scatabo will be a very big hype name. Yeah, I don't know. I just think he's an average running back. I haven't dived into him enough. Trevor Etienne, I think, will return to school after an injury-riddled season. Katron Allen is in the midst of his worst season in college football so far. Hard to see draft capital. Khalil Mullings is a Michigan #1 running back, but nothing special. Phil Maffa, same thing for Clemson. The kid Jackson out of Arkansas, again, nothing stood out to me. And Donovan Edwards has been the worst running back in college football this year. So, wow, a lot was going on just then. I hope you enjoyed it. I feel like I talked for like 3 hours just then, but I tried to keep the video short. Let me know what you think in the comments below. I am now working on wide receivers, so we'll get there soon. And I appreciate you guys for watching the video. Do me a favor, hit that like button, subscribe if you like the content, and I'll see you soon. All love. Now that those idiots are done talking, who needs some rankings?
Hell yeah, I need some rankings.
Then use promo code LAND, L-A-N-D, for 30% off any membership at flockfantasy.com.
Oh.